stage number 6 of the Tour de Argon, the most prestigious marble race out there. We are ready for our first high mountain test of this tour, as we will be competing on a Pyrenean stage that will conquer both the Col d'Aspin and the infamous Col du Tourmalet, which will award the souvenir Jacques Gourdet. Anyway, looking at the yellow jersey battle so far, EF Education Easy Post has held that comfortably since the end of stage 2, but UAE is close in that battle. So, since this is such a tough stage, the toughest so far, and perhaps one of the most important of the entire tour, we might be seeing some fireworks. So be ready. Total Energies and Decathlon are also not too far behind. Speaking of Decathlon, they currently lead the King of the Mountains competition, one that is expected to get rather randomized on today's stage. 20 points on offer for first over the top of the horse category Col du Tourmalet, as well as 10 over the Col d'Aspin. So Decathlon might not be keeping their polka dots for much longer. And lastly, Lotto Intermarché is our green jersey holder after winning the sprint on the most recent stage over Astana and NSN. Not many green jersey points due to how mountainous this stage is. So Astana, or Lotto, they have a good chance of keeping the green jersey over the likes of Astana or NSN, etc. Anyway, it is time to get things off and away. We are randomizing the start as normal, as we are rolling through Po, as the yellow jersey contenders are mired at the back on the start. Meanwhile, Total Energies looks to be at the front, motivated to defeat UAE and EF in that competition. This is expected to be important for the yellow jersey. In fact, some predict that it will be the longest stage in regards to time of this entire tour. So some time gaps could definitely be formed. Total Energies is really capitalizing on a good start. Oh, but they had a bad line there. That's going to allow the likes of Uno X and Bora Hansgrohe to get to the front. Peterello also looking to battle with them. This stage is going to be largely contested like your average Pyrenean stage. It'll start out flat, and then it will get more mountainous as it goes along. Intermediate sprint should be pretty well contested by the sprinters before they peel off on the high mountains. Uno X putting a big gap in the front. Looks like Ineos and Peterello battling for second. Looks like Ineos is going to have the spot for now. Both of them are mid-pack and GC, so they're not the biggest threat, as look at that. EF has made their way through the field. UAE hasn't quite yet, and this was a stage they earmarked, so EF could be putting some time in on today's stage, especially considering Total Energies has fallen back into the peloton. So now we approach the intermediate sprint, 15 kilometers away, but there will be a categorized climb before we get to the sprint, so it's gonna be a technical run-in for this intermediate sprint. You can see there's a Côte de l'Eau, 1.9 kilometers, 7.1%. Shouldn't be too difficult for Uno X to take the KOM point. So now the question is, has Uno X prepared enough on this technical downhill for the intermediate sprint. I think Peterello might be trying to take max points here through the town of Puzak. So Uno X has put in a good defensive job. Peterello might be trying to alter their line a bit to optimize their sprint, but I think that Uno X is going to take full points. It looks like Peterello has made their way onto the front, though. Maybe they were waiting for Uno X to expend most of their energy on the intermediate sprint before they attacked. Next thing on the horizon is the Côte de Mauvaison. 3 kilometers, 6.8%. That's going to be a Category 3 climb. It's the last minor climb before we reach the big mountains. Another interesting fact about this stage is it's the first I've seen ever that's included all 5 categorizations of climbs. Peterello, it looks like, is going to get this 2 points easily. So Decathlon are staying near the front. They do not want to relinquish these polka dots to the likes of Peterello, Uno X, or some of the others further back. Meanwhile, we look back on the GC battle. UAE looks like is pretty mid-pack, losing some spots. But EF is second to last. The only one that's last is our green jersey, who, by the way, has mathematically guaranteed they will be remaining in green for tomorrow's stage because of how far down the competitors competing for the intermediate sprint were. The Decathlons made their way up into second over Uno X. They have a bit of road furniture here before they reach the lower slopes of the Col d'Aspad, a first category climb that I think will be pretty well contested by the marbles. Ineos putting an effort, a chase in to get third over Uno X. And it looks like they have a pretty good line. I think Ineos are going to get to third, but I'm not sure if they're going to get to second. Decathlon might just be letting him pass, but they have a great defensive move, and they are going to keep second place, at least for now. Peterello slow up the lower slopes of the Aspal. So Decathlon's in hot pursuit. Peterello trying to do everything they can to regain some sort of momentum, and I think that Decathlon has left their efforts a bit too little too late on this climb. This is definitely a leg zapper before they get to the Tourmalet, as now Peterello slow. Ineos might be capitalizing. Ineos trying to get to second. They might be trying to get the lead, but that's going to allow Decathlon to get to the lead. Decathlon played that situation perfectly, doing some 3D, well, I guess the marbles are 2D, chess there, to get themselves in a good position. Those are the decisive moments that define the boys from the men. And this will be huge for the likes of Decathlon's KOM competition. They will take the full head. It looks like they are maintaining positions down the descent. So Peterello is in a pretty fierce chase. Peterello might be trying to get them on the descent. And Peterello's into the lead. Oh, they just lost it there with their line choice. As now they are on to the Col de Tourmalet. There goes Ineos. Ineos trying to go for the lead, and Ineos into the lead. Incredible racing on these climbs. 20 points awarded at the top. I'm not sure who's going to end up getting them. Decathlon's going to try to get on Ineos here. But these upper slopes are just so grueling and hard for the marbles that it's hard to make any ground up. As we look back at our yellow jersey competition, UAE a couple spots ahead of EF, but EF doing a good job at some damage limitation today. Total Energies, who is in third, is near the back, but Decathlon, remember, they are pretty high up in GC. They could be trying to get the time bonuses and potentially insert themselves in the competition for yellows. Now they're battling Ineos again for the lead of the stage. You can just see how much the marbles are struggling here. Decathlon trying to go on the inside of Ineos. This could benefit Peterello, but Peterello could not work the same magic with their lines that Decathlon were able to. We have about 6 kilometers to go until the summit of the Tourmalet, where we'll award the Jacques Goldé Prize. It's a monetary award, but I don't really think money means anything to inanimate objects on screens. So treat that as you will. So, 3 kilometers until the summit of the Tourmalet. About 40 or so kilometers to go in the stage out. Right after the Tourmalet, they have a summit finish at the shallow Gavinian Gensla. Now they encounter the toughest slopes of the Tourmalet, perhaps. Though I think that Ineos has done a good job of managing the gap. Ineos is going to get the Jacques Goldé. Or will they? No. Decathlon, I thought they'd have a chance there. But Decathlon, it looks like, has taken the lead of the stage. All of a sudden. Sorry if my commentary is choppy on the descent. I have to write down every single piece of KOM information to make sure I can commentate on it. But Decathlon, they're doing the same thing as one of the marbles. I think Uno X did, or not Uno X, Peterello on the intermediate sprint. They sandbag on the climb, let the others take the KOM points so Decathlon can just get up the road and take what could be the yellow jersey. Because looking back at yellow, they have made their way through the field, EF has. And UAE's been trying to follow, but it's been a difficult chase. But Decathlon, depending on how far ahead they are, they could be taking the yellow jersey, as now they're about to start the Gavinian Gensla. They're done with the descent of the Tourmalet. And Peterello has about 18 kilometers to chase to potentially get a stage win. In other news, Decathlon has secured their polka dots for the next stage if they can't get it yellow, but the further they go, yellow could be an inevitability. It's a 24-second gap between Decathlon and EF in the general classification. If Decathlon wins this stage, they get a 10-second win bonus. They only need 16, but there goes Peterello. Peterello might be going for the race-winning move, and Peterello to the lead of stage number 6, and they are flying away from the pack. This will be huge for Peterello. Peterello, it looks like no one is in sight. Decathlon might be losing second. from Bahrain victorious. They make a good defensive move. But I think their hopes of summoning Gothany Gensel first are gone. Peterello, Q365 goes under the Flamme Rouge, and they will be the first over the finish line. Congratulations to Peterello, Q365. Decathlon holds on to second, so that means that if EF finishes under 806 seconds, which they will do handily, then EF will be securing their yellow jersey for another day. Since we look further back, time cuts haven't been an issue, and we expect them to remain a non-issue. Total Energies, we thought they could be in contention earlier in this tour for yellow, but they have been on a bit of a decline for this stage. Yes, congratulations to Peterello. EF Education maintains their advantage in the yellow jersey, but the meta has changed. Decathlon now, crucially, sits in second, and Peterello sits in third after their decisive results on today's mountain stage. UAE, the big loser of today, finishing further down the order than they would have wanted on a stage that some might have thought would favor them. Total Energies also lost several spots today. Anyway, Lotto Intermarché keeps a good spot in the green jersey competition, but they will have their work cut out for them, as next stage is a flat stage, another one that will award maximum green jersey points. Finally, the polka dots. Decathlon summoned the Col d'Aspal first, were consistent on the other climbs, and thus that consistency will give them another day, in fact another few days, because of how flat the next couple stages are in the polka dots. But Ineos is close for summoning that all-category climb first, and Peterello still remains a threat for the polka dots as well, after they've had some consistent results throughout the day on categorized climbs. We hope to see you in the next stage, whatever that next stage may be.